Hi everyone. In the previous video sessions, we have already started with chemical properties of alcohols and phenols. Very firstly, we have learnt about acidity of alcohols and phenols, and secondly, we have learnt about their main important chemical properties regarding acidification, and thirdly, dehydration of alcohols. So in the previous video class, you have already learnt about dehydration of alcohols to convert into alkene, that is with the help of concentrated H2SO4. When ethanol is treated with concentrated H2SO4 and the temperature maintained at 170 degrees Celsius, on heating ethanol with excess of concentrated H2SO4, you are going to get the conversion of ethanol into ethene. So for that reaction, today we are going to learn about the mechanism. It is one of the most important mechanism for the conversion of ethanol into ethene. So it is a most important mechanism from examination point of view. So it's very important mechanism, as well it is very easy mechanism to remember also. Only thing is, you should just observe keenly all the steps which I am going to explain now. Very first, if you go for the mechanism of dehydration of ethanol, how many steps does it involve? So it involves 3 steps. So in these 3 steps, the very first step includes protonation of alcohol. So we are going to add proton to the alcohol so that we are going to get the conversion into carbo, that is ethyl oxonium ion. And in the second step, that ethyl oxonium ion with the particularly we are going to get into convert into carbocation with the removal of water. That means it is a dehydration process, and even there will be loss of water molecule here along with the formation of carbocation. And in the last step, you are going to get that conversion of carbocation into alkene with the removal of proton. Actually, if ethanol is heated with concentrated H2SO4, concentrated H2SO4 is acting as a catalyst, where that H2SO4 can easily dissociate to give H plus ions. Actually, here H plus ion is acting as a catalyst, so that you are getting that H plus ion after the completion of this reaction. During this mechanism, you can find the removal of that H plus. You are getting back that H plus. So, here H plus is acting as only catalyst. Now, very first, if we start with step 1 of the mechanism, that is mechanism of dehydration of ethanol, step 1 is protonation of alcohol. So which is that alcohol we are starting with? That is ethanol, CH3, CH2OH. Now we can easily find out on the electronegative oxygen atom, there are 2 lone pairs of electrons. That O is actually attached to the hydrogen. When ethanol is interacting with the H plus of the acid. So now there is easy attack of H plus. It needs electron. It is electron deficient. Hence it needs electron. So who is helping for that? So oxygen, which contains lone pair of electron. So that H plus can easily get attacked on the position of oxygen where it contains lone pair of electron. So that is why this lone pair of electron of the oxygen atom is involved in the bond with hydrogen. So it is getting converting into, already oxygen is bonded with one hydrogen atom. Now it is making new bond with proton, that is to give OH. In this case, you can easily find it out. Even you should show this arrow mark during this mechanism. So attack of H plus for oxygen due to the presence of lone pair of electron here. Don't forget to consider this arrow mark. So with this arrow mark, you can easily identify what the path of that mechanism. Now, once oxygen is losing that lone pair of electron because of helping to make bond with H plus, so oxygen now it is getting positive charge. So due to the loss of one electron, that is oxygen is gaining positive charge. Hence this product, that is in the first step, whatever that product you are getting here is ethyl oxonium ion. Where that positive charge is accumulated, it is present over on oxygen. Hence it is considered as oxonium ion. Next, if you go for second step, formation of carbocation by the loss of water. So whatever the product you are going to get in the first step, without losing any concentration, you should write whatever the structure you have got in the first step as it is in the second step as the starting reagent. Now, once this ethyl oxonium ion, it is stable or unstable, we can easily guess. Since oxygen is highly electronegative in nature, it is carrying positive charge, it can't bear that positive charge, right? So, it is getting that lost electron through the bond with carbon. So, now it is trying to pull that shared pair of electron between carbon and oxygen, so that we are getting that removal of bond between carbon and oxygen. So, oxygen is getting back its valency, hence it is stabilized and it is getting converting into H2O to get its neutrality back. So, there is removal of bond here and there is formation of water. There is loss of water molecule. Then due to the loss of water molecule here we can find carbon by losing this valence bonded electron, it is now gaining positive charge. Whenever you consider the carbon which is carrying positive charge, it is commonly called as carbocation. So, due to the loss of water, we are going to get the resultant product, that is carbocation. And once you get that carbocation, it will not stop over here. It is highly unstable. In the very next step, what happens here? To gain that stability, whatever you will get that carbocation structure, you should write it as it is in the third step. Very importantly, you don't forget to write the positive charges. So, here carbon is carrying positive charge. And how will you get that stability for carbon? Where do you get that stability? That is with the help of the neighboring bond between carbon and hydrogen. Now, the bond pair will be present between this carbon atom and the hydrogen atom. This bond is shifted over between carbon and carbon, so that it is helping for the removal of H. It is helping for the removal of H, that is without electron, that H will be removed in the form of H plus, so that we are getting back that proton. That is, whatever that proton is added in the first step mechanism, we are going to get back that proton release. So, hence now this proton is actually acting as a catalyst here. So, in the final step, due to the shifting of the bond between carbon and hydrogen towards carbon and carbon, now there is formation of double bond between first carbon atom and the second carbon atom. So, at the end of the mechanism, we are going to get the conversion of that ethanol into ethene. So, these are the three important steps which you have to remember without fail. You should not do even a silly mistake while writing any structures and regarding the arrow mark, and even you should be careful enough which are those atoms which are carrying positive charges in each and every step. And now, by observing these steps, here I have written in the very first step, it is said to be fast step. The reaction will be taking place very fastly to result in the formation of ethyl oxonium ion. But in the second step mechanism, actually it is a slow process here. So, in this slow process here, that ethyl oxonium ion is getting converting into carbocation. Since that second step is a slow step, it is said to be rate determining step. So, whichever that step is said to be rate determining step, then with the help of that rate determining step, even we can find out that order. So, because this is considered as a rate determining step, of course, it is containing this that is ethyl oxonium ion, and it is following what order? It is following first order of the reaction. So, that is about the mechanism of dehydration of ethanol. They can ask direct question in examination. So, write mechanism for the conversion of ethanol into ethane, or in general they can ask explain the mechanism for the conversion of alcohol into alkene with an example. So, which is that particular example you are going to take? That is conversion of ethanol into ethene. By this, it is very much clear about this reaction So this dehydration process is done in the presence of excess of concentrated sulfuric acid, where that acid is acting as a catalyst. I think it is very much clear about the 3 steps in this mechanism. So after learning about mechanism, now we can go for 4th chemical property of alcohols, that is oxidation process. So in this oxidation process, we are going to add up oxygen to the alcohol. So now once you consider this oxidation process, this can be done with the help of oxidizing agents. So here we are going to use, that is strong oxidizing agent, KMnO4, but of course it is acidified KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate in the presence of sulfuric acid. So actually when potassium permanganate interacts with acid, so it is going to generate nascent oxygens. So this oxygen will be provided for the oxidation process. And here mainly if you take these alcohols, the oxidation process involves the cleavage or breaking of bond between oxygen and hydrogen of hydroxyl group and carbon and hydrogen. So with the removal of these 2 hydrogen atoms and with the addition of this oxygen atom, it helps for the removal of water. So here you don't get confused. There is removal of water molecule here. So it should be considered as dehydration process. It is not dehydration process. In the previous chemical properties, we are going to remove that water molecule directly from the alcohol. But here in this process, we are actually removing hydrogen atoms, one attached to oxygen, another attached to carbon, that is combined with the oxygen provided by oxidizing agent. Hence, it results in the formation of water. But of course, it involves only the removal of hydrogen atoms from the alcohol. Hence, this oxidation process can also be named as dehydrogenation. Now, you should be very much careful about the difference between dehydration and dehydrogenation. Alcohols can undergo both dehydration process as well as dehydrogenation process. In the presence of only concentrated H2SO4, alcohol can undergo dehydration to give alkene. But here that alcohol, particularly if you take with primary alcohol in the presence of acidified KMnO4, that is strong oxidizing agent, we are going to remove hydrogen atoms. Hence the process is called as dehydrogenation process. Now let us start with that direct general equation for this process. Actually, we are starting with this primary alcohols. We are going to learn about oxidation process for primary, secondary as well as tertiary. Now, if you start with these primary alcohols on oxidation in the presence of acidified potassium permanganate, you are going to get conversion into aldehyde. But this reaction will not stop over here. So this aldehyde is unstable because it will further undergo oxidation process, so that it is converting into aldehyde, that is it is converting into carboxyl group. Now once you start with the first step, here primary alcohol, so one hydrogen atom from the oxygen and one hydrogen atom attached to the carbon will get separated and they will be get added with oxygen to form water. Now this carbon will be left over, that is one hydrogen atom, it is making bond with oxygen, so that this group will be converting into, that is CH2OH group is converting into CH3CHO. Of course, now if you consider it is not CH3, it is R because it is general equation. So whatever that R group is there, that will be retained as it is. But this particular CH2OH group, it is converting into aldehydic group. Hence, we can get conversion of primary alcohol into aldehyde with the removal of, that is separation of water molecule. It actually involves 2 hydrogen atoms are removed. Now, in the next step, this aldehyde is further undergoing addition with one more oxygen, so that this CH4 group is converting into carboxyl group, that is COOH. Hence, aldehyde is converting into carboxyl group, that is carboxylic acid or COOH. That is why here we can consider with the help of strong oxidizing agent, that is acidified potassium permanganate, alcohol can be converting into carboxylic acid. And one best example for this conversion, how do you convert ethanol into ethanoic acid? With the help of oxidizing agent. So that is, here also we are using the same acidified potassium permanganate. When ethanol is subjected for oxidation in the presence of acidified potassium permanganate, very firstly it is getting converting into aldehyde. That is which aldehyde? Ethanol. Here from this carbon atom, one hydrogen atom and one more hydrogen atom attached to the oxygen, and these two hydrogen atoms attached with oxygen, it will be just converting into what molecule? Water molecule. So that there is removal of two hydrogen atoms from CH2OH group, that is CH2OH group. That is why it is considered as dehydrogenation process. And once you get this ethanol, NaL, not NOL, ethanol, this is commonly called as acetaldehyde. And once you get this acetaldehyde, this is immediately undergoing oxidation further and it is getting converting into carboxylic group, that is CH3COOH. It is named as ethanoic acid. Commonly it is called as acetic acid. That is how we are converting primary alcohols into carboxylic acids with the help of KMnO4 in the presence of H2SO4. If we want to convert alcohols, that is primary alcohols, directly into carboxylic acids, we can take the help of concentrated sulfuric acid and along with potassium permanganate, that is acidified potassium permanganate, which is acting as strong oxidizing agent. But if you want to stop over that reaction to aldehyde itself, that is if you want conversion of primary alcohols into aldehyde, then we can go for other oxidizing agents such as, one is CrO3, that is chromic anhydride, that is CrO3 chromic trioxide in the anhydrous medium, and one more PCC. What is that PCC? Pyridinium chlorochromate or pyridinium chlorochromate. So here we can find there is a presence of pyridine here, that is NH. In the it is example for heterocyclic compound. So here we can consider one carbon atom is replaced by nitrogen. So and it is in addition to this pyridinium, there is presence of chlorochromate group. So ClCrO3 minus. So C6H5NH plus and CrO3Cl minus, it is named as pyridinium chlorochromate. And this PCC is also helping as oxidizing agent for the conversion of primary alcohol into aldehyde. Now, once you go for that is chromic anhydride CrO3, when primary alcohol is subjected for oxidation in the presence of chromic, that is chromium trioxide in anhydrous medium, we are going to get that conversion into aldehyde. Now, we can take one example, ethanol. When ethanol is subjected for oxidation, that is anhydrous CrO3, we are going to get that conversion into acetaldehyde, that is CH3CHO. And here you can find two hydrogen atoms are removed off from the CH2OH group, a H from OH group and another H from CH2 group, combining with oxygen and results in the formation of water molecule. So, since there are removal of two hydrogen atoms, this process is also considered as dehydrogenation process. So, oxidation of this primary alcohol with the help of this anhydrous CrO3 is also considered as dehydrogenation. And here ethanol is converting into ethanol, Al. So, what is that common name? Acetaldehyde. And once you can, it can be named as, what is that IUPAC name? Ethanol, Al is only small difference. It is OL and here it is Al. And once you go for PCC, so it is one of the important oxidizing agent which gives very good yield of aldehyde. We can convert primary alcohol into aldehyde with the help of this pyridinium chlorochromate. So when primary alcohol is subjected for oxidation by using PCC, we are going to get conversion into aldehyde. As usual, there are removal of 2 hydrogen atoms along with oxygen in the form of water. It is also dehydrogenation process. And if you take one simple example, here double bonded group is present and along with OH groups. It is one of the simple example for allylic alcohol where OH is attached to sp3 hybridized carbon atom which is interlinked to sp2 hybridized carbon. So which is that example? But2-ene 1-ol. When this compound, that is but2-ene 1-ol, is treated with pyridinium chlorochromate on oxidation, it is going to get converted into but2-ene ol. So here we are retaining the double bond as it is. Which group is going to change? Here alcoholic group CH2OH group is getting converting into aldehydic group with the removal of 2 hydrogen atoms and they are resulting in the formation of water. That is how we can convert primary alcohols into aldehydes with the help of these 2 oxidizing agents. So you should be careful enough. So there are 2 important conditions required. So how we are going to convert primary alcohols directly into carboxylic acids, that is with the help of strong oxidizing agent acidified potassium permanganate. How we are going to convert primary alcohols into aldehydes, that is by the help of oxidizing agents such as anhydrous, CrO3 and PCC, pyridinium chlorochromate. So that is regarding oxidation of primary alcohols which are also considered as dehydrogenation process. Now if you go for oxidation of secondary alcohols. So secondary alcohols can be subjected for oxidation with the help of chromic anhydride, that is CrO3 in the presence of that is in anhydrous medium. So when these secondary alcohols OH is attached to the secondary carbon atom, when these secondary alcohols are subjected for oxidation, so that is in the presence of CrO3 chromic anhydride on oxidation, you are going to get the removal of 2 hydrogen atoms, one from OH group and another from CH group, and that will be added to oxygen. It will be removed off in the form of water. Hence, you are going to get that conversion of CH-OH group into C double bond O group, that is carbonyl group. So now it is converting into ketone. And if you take one specific example, so isopropyl alcohol, that is propane 2-ol, when this is subjected for oxidation in the presence of CrO3 chromic anhydride, that is in anhydrous medium, you are easily going to get that conversion into ketone. Hence, we are getting conversion of propane 2-ol into propanone. So, we can convert secondary alcohols into ketones with the help of CrO3. But if you want further oxidation of these ketones, here actually it needs drastic conditions. At normal conditions, you can convert only that secondary alcohols into the ketonic group. But if you want to convert that further ketonic group into carboxylic group, it needs extraordinary conditions, that is a drastic conditions only. It can undergo further oxidation so that it can convert, that ketonic group can be converting into carboxyl group. But here we can find there will be reduction in the number of carbon atoms if it converts from ketone into the carboxyl group. Here there are 3 carbon atoms you can see, but there are only 2 carbon atoms. So another carbon atom it is getting converting into carbon dioxide, and also there will be formation of water. So that is how we can convert, that is secondary alcohols into ketones. So once you go for oxidation of tertiary alcohols can also undergo oxidation. So but these tertiary alcohols are resistant towards oxidation with KMnO4, either it is in neutral state or it is in alkaline medium. But of course, these tertiary alcohols can also undergo oxidation in acidified potassium dichromate or acidified potassium permanganate solution. But here there will be small change with respect to tertiary alcohols. In case of primary alcohols, so we are going to get that conversion of alcohols into carboxylic acids. In case of secondary alcohols, those secondary alcohols converting into aldehydes. And of course we can consider here that is not aldehyde in case of secondary, but it will be converting into ketones. But if you go for tertiary alcohols, so in case of tertiary alcohols, these tertiary alcohols will not directly undergo oxidation, but instead, because of presence of the acid along with potassium permanganate in that acid medium, they will first undergo dehydration process. So there will be change with respect to this oxidation process. In the very first step, it will not undergo oxidation. Instead, they will undergo dehydration and results in the formation of alkene. And in the very next further step, they can easily undergo oxidation along with that potassium permanganate, that is acidified potassium permanganate. So we are getting that conversion into ketonic group as well as carboxylic group. And now if you go for that specific example, that is tertiary butyl alcohol. It is one of the example for tertiary alcohols. So tertiary alcohols, that is OH group is added, that is attached to tertiary carbon atom here. So once in the presence of H plus, it is helping for the removal of water molecule. So OH along with one hydrogen atom which is attached to that next neighboring carbon atom, it will be removed off in the form of water. So but of course this hydrogen atom attached to the carbon will be removed off without bond. So hence it results in the formation of double bond between these two carbon atoms. Hence you are going to get that alkene as the compound in the first step. So here if you start with tertiary butyl alcohol, it results in the formation of isobutylene. And once you get this conversion into alkene compound, then it is easy for it to undergo oxidation. So it on further oxidation, you are going to get that conversion into two products. One is CH3CO, CH3, and here there will be breakage of one carbon atom. So that results in the formation of carboxyl group, that is formic acid. Hence you are going to get the mixture of acetone as well as formic acid in this case. And let us go for another example. Here we can take pentyl alcohol. So in case of pentyl alcohol, OH is actually attached to tertiary carbon atom. Excuse me. OH is attached to tertiary carbon atom. And here it is undergoing dehydration, the first step, to result in the formation of alkene compound. This alkene compound only on further oxidation results in the formation of mixture of acetone and acetic acid. So here tertiary pentyl alcohol, it is converting into alkene compound. So which is that alkene compound? It is 2-methyl butene, 2-methyl but 2-ene. So this alkene is converting into mixture of acetone and acetic acid. That is the different types of products are obtained on oxidation of primary alcohol, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. Now we can go for fifth chemical properties of alcohols, that is catalytic dehydrogenation. As the name itself indicates, dehydrogenation, that is removal of hydrogen. So in the presence of catalyst. So when alcohols such as primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols, when they are heated over or when their vapors are passed over hot copper, that is at the temperature of 300 degrees Celsius or 573 Kelvin, then you are going to get different types of products based on the type of the alcohols. So therefore, we are going to get different products with respect to primary alcohols, secondary alcohols and tertiary alcohols. Now let us learn these reactions one after the another. Very first, if we start with catalytic dehydrogenation of primary alcohols. So when primary alcohols, the vapors of primary alcohols are passed over hot copper, that is at temperature of 300 degrees Celsius. When primary alcohol vapors are passed over copper at 300 degrees Celsius, then you are going to get the end product, that is aldehyde, and here there will be removal of hydrogen. With the removal of 2 hydrogen atoms, it is end up with the formation of an aldehyde. If you take specific example, first example here I have given us CH3OH, that is methanol. So it's very simple to remember the product. So here methanol, when subjected for catalytic dehydrogenation in the presence of copper as the catalyst, then you will end up with the formation of methanol. So it is methanol and it is methanol. So you can easily predict the product. When in examination, if they have given this reaction up to here and they will give blank here and they will just represent it by X, letter X. So you should identify that product X. Then you can easily guess that main product will be methanol. And of course there will be liberation or there will be separation of hydrogen. And if you go for second example, that is ethanol, we can easily convert ethanol into ethanol with the help of the same catalytic dehydrogenation. When vapors of ethanol are passed over heated copper at 300 degrees Celsius, then you are going to get the formation of ethanol, that is CH3CHO. It is acetaldehyde. And here there will be removal of hydrogen. In case primary alcohols, when they are subjected for catalytic dehydrogenation with the help of copper, the end product will be aldehyde. But if you go for secondary alcohols, the end product is not the same. So when secondary alcohols are subjected for catalytic dehydrogenation with the same conditions, that is in the presence of heated copper at 300 degrees Celsius, when vapors of secondary alcohols are passed over heated copper at 300 degrees Celsius, then what you are going to get? You are going to get the formation of ketone. So here, because H will be removed from OH group, another H will be removed from CH group, so it results in the formation of CO group with the removal of hydrogen. So now if we take specific example, which is that example here I have given, that is propane to all, isopropyl alcohol. When this isopropyl alcohol is heated over copper catalyst at 300 degrees Celsius temperature, what you are going to expect that product? It is very simple. Propane to all is converting into propanone. So it is propane to, understood? For propane or any that is ketonic group, it will be present at second position, means no need to mention that position. So it is propanone and there will be separation of hydrogen. And in case of tertiary alcohols, we are not expecting the dehydrogenation like in primary alcohols and secondary alcohols, but instead we are going to get the product formation, that is alkene, by dehydration. So actually it involves dehydration, that is with the removal of water molecule OH, and H will be removed off in the form of water, and there will be formation of double bond between two carbon atoms and results in the formation of alkene. So here if you take that specific example, which is that example, it is tertiary butyl alcohol. When tertiary butyl alcohol vapors are passed over heated copper at 300 degrees Celsius, so you are going to end up in the formation of product, that is isobutylene. Isobutylene. So that is 2-methyl propene, and there will be removal of water. This is how by the help of catalytic dehydrogenation, we can easily distinguish, that is, primary alcohols will end up with the formation of aldehyde, secondary alcohols will end up in the formation of ketones, and tertiary alcohols will end up in the formation of unsaturated, that is double bonded compounds, alkenes. So that is regarding the that is catalytic dehydrogenation of alcohols. So up to now we have learnt about 5 chemical properties of alcohols.